Alright, back here we're gonna have a look at some bonuses. We're gonna have a look here at the tragedy of EthanWinters concept art. And we have here about 120 photos that we can go through. We have here Peter, Manuel, Audrey. Then we have Mia, Ethan, Alton, or Alan Douglas, I should say, Dave Anderson. He was the policeman in Biohazard. Can't remember that dog. Can't remember him in Resident Evil 7. Jack, Meg, we have Kevin, Annabelle, Margaritas. She was practically the int boss in the game. She was. I can remember her sitting in the wheelchair in the baker's residence. She was always sitting there, watching over her family there. Molded, and that was Evelyn right here. But I don't know about Margaritas. She was that mold fly. Yeah, she was a mold fly in the house that we had over at the lake there in the forest where she had her house there. She was that mold fly. All right, let's have a look at some more here. We got about 120. You can read down here. Initials roughed out of Ethan and Mia when they were not going to be married, but strangers. Ethan was an investigator and Mia was a missing person. Concept art 3. Art director's comment. We have the bakers sitting there with Margarita, Lucas probably. That is Zoe. That is Evelyn probably, or is that Mia? Not sure. Let me know in comments below. Resident Evil concept art. That's Jack. Lucas probably. That is Zoe. Margarita, and that's probably Mia. Look at that. Holy mackerel, guys. Holy mackerel. Jack's glasses were his key focal point for his character during early development. The image on the right is his chainsaw fight. That's his chainsaw fight right there in the basement. That's what we had to do. We had to go after Jack in the basement with a chainsaw. He had the chainsaw. I think we also had a chainsaw. But we met him again in the boat's yard, or in the boat shed there. Look at the next one here. Art director's comment number 8. That's Margarita? One of the idea of Margarita's mutated form. E&D. That was the int boss at the end of the game. That's Evelyn, who we had to fight at the end of the game. Look at that. How cool is that? Those were the mold monsters. Art director's comment here. The main antagonists were the Baker families, so the designs of the general monsters. The molded, those are the molded monsters, were some of the hardest ones. They needed to stand out without taking attention away from the Bakers. The Bakers looked realistically human thanks to a technique using scanned photographs. So we wanted to mold it not outshine them. Okay. Seen that one in Biohazard. I think I only met one, and I shot him with the gun. That was also a molded monster generation type. Designed for a fat molded at the bottom right. You can see how the molded are made. If we get rid of this, you have the bathtubs. Then you pour something into the bathtub, and then the mold down here. You can see that at the bottom there. Art director comment: the moment the molded are born. My God. You can zoom in and you can also zoom out. Zoom in and out. Next one. Art and director's cut. That's crazy. And that's Margarita. Margarita's flies. They were horrible, guys. They were horrible. Designed for Margarita's creepy crawlies. From the top, they are adult and young, man-eating insects, as well as man-eating spiders that live in doorways. That's creepy, guys. Huh. Art director 18. I don't think I can show them all in one video. Not sure. Let's see. Art from the early development of Resident Evil 7. This was the moment we decided the settings. That was the house in Resident Evil 7 Biohazard. That's awesome. An old baker's residence. You can see in the front here where the forest was. The caravan there was somewhere back here. It's and you can see inside that old baker's residence. Look how disgusting that looked. Here, the main dining room inside the house. There weren't plans for main house and guest house at this point. Look how disgusting that looks. Art director's cut number 20. That's inside the house. I think that was inside where Margarita was here. That was so disgusting, guys. I can't remember where that was. Must have been somewhere in the attic, I think it was. And no, that was in the underground, underneath the house. That was in the basement, I think it was. An underground area where the family kept a terrifying monster that needed a large feeding hatch. That was in the basement. I can remember that now. You come through here, then you have to play yourself through the basement. And that was horrifying down there. Early concept of the guest house. The size is close to the final version. Yeah. The living room, I think it was. Concept art for the guest house living room. Yes. The living room. This became a room where the VCR was found in the release version of the game. This layout became too difficult to understand and navigate in-game, so it got completely overhauled. Alright. That's the living room. Concept for the second floor of the guest house. This was changed to the third floor with a hidden staircase. Concept art showing Andre's corpse in the guest house basement. One initial idea was to have the player take the flashlight from Andre's body. Holy moly. Concept art for the scene in the guest house where Mia crawls up the stairs towards Ethan. That was scary crap, man. That was scary as hell. Here we have the baker's residence. The final design of the main house was based on on-site research of Louisiana. The house of the baker's home base is on plantation houses that date back to the American Civil War. In the era of slavery in the US, the talisman design for Resident Evil 7 made by Jack out of a cow head. Man, Jack, man, look at that. That's all Jack's work. That is so disgusting, man. Jack was, man, they really messed him up. Early development concept art for the main house. The final version did not have you enter through the front door. The layout for the second floor was also completely different. The dining room of the main house had a completely different feel from the final version. Alright. This is the garage. Where you first fight Jack. There's a truck in there. You use that truck to get away. But you can't because Jack is going to jump into the car here. And yeah, this is the first place where you're going to be fighting Jack. But Jack is not giving up for in the long run. The garage is the main house that you fight Jack in. Initials plans had the garage and boiler together in a single room. That is the sunlit entrance, the main hall in the house. We have here, until the final version, early concept art included a large open yard. Okay. Concept art for the entrance hall is much closer to the final version. And here we have our the puzzle, the sunlight puzzle here, the camera, and we have an object here. It says here concept art for one of the shadow puzzles. I can remember doing both of them. These rooms needed to be used for fights and puzzles, so we tried to make them as disconcerting as possible. Art director's comment: shadow puzzle in the old house. I had to do that one as well. Shadow puzzle in Lucas's room. So we have pretty much 3. 1, 2, and 3. We had to do there. And those were the keys that we had to find to open these 3 doors. So that one, that was the crow key. This one here was, what was that? That was the scorpion key, that one, to open up the scorpion door, and that one here, that was the snake key to open the snake door. It says here, on the right is the design for the 3 hedge-headed dark relief, I should say. The 3 heads here, the 3-headed horse with the dog heads on it. We had to find them as well. That was pretty scary. And that was in front of the baker's house, the caravan, or the mobile home I should say, where we had the tape recorder for safe games, for saving our games. We could go in there and be protected. Concept art for the yard. There are always plans to have a trailer in the center of the yard, trapped by the house around it. Early on during development, Zoe's room was not going to be the trailer, but a room in the main house which Ethan saves her from. Okay. What else does it say here? The room was going to have a sort of a Louisiana folklore theme to it. Cool. And that's where we had to fight Margarita. The old house was once situated on the solid ground but was flooded by a hurricane, which is why it was separated from the main house and barricaded up. That was all Margarita's house. A web-covered room inside the old house. Concept art for the old house shows an image of a room with a severely damaged floor. Margarita walks down the corridor with a candle to receive mold from Evelyn. Okay, she needed a candle to receive that mold from Evelyn. The destruction is the room was caused by a hurricane. So the hurricane did damage to that room. Alright. The jetty behind the old house that leads to the bayou. The crow key is kept away from the house in a remote location so no one can get to it. I got to it, by the way. Concept for an overgrown greenhouse. Yeah, that's where you had to fight Margarita. Where Margarita used to grow her plants. And that's her. That's old Margarita. You have to fight her in the greenhouse. Concept art for mutated Margarita. Her arms and legs were warped in a terrifying way as she relentlessly pursued Ethan. Yeah, we had to kill her. I can remember that. The child's room in the old house that Evelyn lives in is full of toys for girls like a dollhouse and dolls. Well, what was that? These dolls are unlike the ones in the entrance to the old house and are based on the molded. Okay. Temporarily designed for the room behind the child's room, where life-size dolls is seated instead of Evelyn. We remember those dolls from Village. Yeah, Shadows of Rose. But I don't know if those are the same ones. Not sure. Okay, that is the final design. We had to find that doll. I think it was somewhere in the house, in the child's room, where we had to find it. So the seating was made to be low to give it a claustrophobic feeling. Cool. Nice. Okay, this is on the way to Lucas. This is Lucas's gameplay. Concept art for Lucas's section of the game. When you enter the room, there are black lights, which make it feel almost like a nightclub. Look at that. How cool is that? With the name written on it, Let's Play. Written on the entrance to Lucas' section of the game. Yeah, Lucas, he had those trip meters, trip lines all over, so we had to be careful not to get hit by those trip lines. Continued into Lucas's area and it expands into white rooms covered with plastic sheeting. Halfway through the development we decided to make tripwire bombs Lucas's main weapon of choice. So it was Lucas's choice to lay those trip lines. Concept art for when four-legged molded first appear in Lucas's section. Holy mackerel. Remember all that. You can you can see a number of strange puzzles. Then we have here such as a birthday cake. I can remember doing this here. This is all Lucas's section here, where you had to trick Lucas into not setting that room on fire so you can escape the fire. There was a hole behind the fire there that you can escape out of, and we escaped it. We tricked them. All right. Jack Baker's. We're back to Baker. Jack Baker's boathouse. Concept art for the cut boat fight when Mia and Ethan escaped the house. The idea was that the fight with Jack would take place in the muddy waters. I can remember that. We were fighting Jack there in the old boathouse. Concept art for the shipwreck. A destroyed tanker which Evelyn split in two with her powers. What? I didn't know that. Okay. Evelyn has split that tanker in two with her powers. Louisiana used to have a thriving gas industry with a large number of tankers. Oh, that's just Mia and her colleagues, Alan, get passage on the tanker from Europe to US pretending to be Evelyn's parents. My God. Change of pace from the excitement of the fights and puzzles in Baker's house. Yeah, that is on the ship. That is on the ship. Concept art for Ethan being trapped in mold by Evelyn on the shipwreck. If you save Zoe, I think then you have to fight Evelyn. I think it is on the ship. Concept art for the mine just in front of Lucas's research lab. It's a salt mine, which is why the cave walls are white. I can remember doing the salt mine there. Concept art for Evelyn creating mutamycete. Hey, there's one more. This whole incident with the Baker family was caused by a single girl wanting to create a network of mold across the world in order to have a family of her own. Wow. Alright. Alright. Resident Evil Concept Art 1. Okay, we are done here with Resident Evil Village. And no, we're not. Wait a minute. We're done with Resident Evil 7 concept art. That's what we're done with concept art number 65 with Resident Evil 7. Sorry about that, guys. That's where we're going to end our video here. Or are we? We might continue. Let's continue here. Alright, so we have here Resident Evil Village concept art. Going to village now. We have here 3 bags, small, medium and large. A and B, small, medium, large. And yeah, we can upgrade our suitcase, or what is it? A backpack 3 times. Resident Evil Village Concept Art 2. Number 3. Now, I don't know who that guy is there with that beak face. Not sure who he is. Early plans had a mysterious masked person that saves Ethan. This was going to be Ada Wong investigating the village. What? No, I didn't see Ada Wong in Resident Evil Village. But this was cut due to a number of conflicting scenarios. Okay, so they cut Ada Wong out of Resident Evil Village because it was conflicting with a number of scenarios. I think they should have left Ada Wong in the village if it was creating if it was conflicting scenarios or not. Not sure about that one. Okay, number 4 here. Art director's comment. Early development concept art for the Benevento family, based around the idea of a ghost family. Okay. An early draft of Heisenberg's family. The biggest difference was that Heisenberg was going to be a twin and his mother was a subject for brain experiments. Holy mackerel. Okay. Heisenberg's father was going to be the leader of the village and the boss fight. Yeah, that's the guy with the wheels there. With the mechanical mutation was originally going to be with him. Early development rough draft of the leader of the village religion before we came up with Miranda. He was going to transform into a dragon-like monster, but this idea was later used for Dimitrescu's boss fight. Wow. And that is the Duke. Early development concept for Duke, the merchant, where we bought our weapons and ammunition from. But he was later against us when we played that DLC Shadows of Rose. He was against Rose for some reason or other. We haven't seen him after we killed Miranda, I think it was. What the heck is that? A merchant? The merchants? Okay, that was the merchant's carriage. Duke travels with his horse and carriage all over the village. Look at that. How cool is that? The symbol of the merchant is a lantern. You can see all this decoration with good bones, whatnot. We have a number of designs, but decided a round silhouette would be more impactful. Okay. Typewriters for the game saves. The typewriter for Village was designed to be distinguishable from previous games like RE2 and RE3. The costumes and objects are based on the 1960s designs, including the typewriter. Those were the boxes that we saved in. We know these boxes here from Resident Evil 7, Resident Evil 4, and removed the item box. What? However, the development went on. We decided to change the game to be more Resident Evil 4 and removed the item boxes. So they removed the item boxes in Resident Evil 4, I believe. I still have to play that game, but I'm not sure. I've seen people play Resident Evil 4 and they haven't removed the item box. I'm gonna have to check that out again. What are those? I couldn't solve them in the game. I couldn't design for the labyrinth based on Castle Dimitrescu. The labyrinths were designed after something you'd see at the end of the 19th century and were originally going to be tributes to the Four Lords. I have no idea how to solve these labyrinth puzzles. No idea. I don't even know where to get that metal ball from. Not sure. Labyrinth. On the left is Beneventos and was based on Donna's area. To the graveyard and over a waterfall via suspension bridge. I remember going over a suspension bridge, yes. The labyrinth on the right is based on Maurice reservoirs, with the windmills in the center. There was also a design fishing village with boats when it wasn't flooded. I have no idea how to solve them. Let me know in comments below how to solve these labyrinths. Heisenberg's labyrinth is based on his factory. Early development concept. Resident Evil Village concept art 20. Okay, 21. Typewriter is what? An early design for safe rooms had a camera as the safe point instead of a typewriter. Okay, a camera as a safe point. Nice. Cool. But that was an early design for the safe. There was an early design. Later on, they came out with I think before the game came out, they changed that. They changed it over to a typewriter and a tape recorder as well. An early plot point was to have Ada, disguising herself with the mask, help Ethan escape from his trial. So Ada was in Resident Evil Village. She was in Resident Evil Village. As they're seeing it here, she was hiding behind the mask. I didn't even know that. I didn't know that Ada Wong was in Resident Evil Village. She must have played that character with that mask on. The early plot. Yeah, that's freaking cool, man. That's cool. Ada Wong in Resident Evil Village. She was disguised with a beaked mask. Cool. That's good to know. Story shows the ending of the trial scene, as well as Miranda's experiment. Miranda was initially going to be a researcher. Okay. Concept of living of flying enemies in all courtyards of Castle Dimitrescu. Early concept art for the bird of lichens. I remember those from Shadows of Rose. I remember them. Those dolls. They were freaking terrifying, guys. They can chop you in half. Those were terrifying. I can remember them in the dollhouse there. That was, whew, that was man. Cut design for a large lichen who commands two-chained Varkolak. Concept art for Heisenberg's factory where Ethan is chased by the Soldat series, okay? Design for various Soldat reactors, but the final design was a grotesque mechanical heart. A mechanical heart, those Soldats, they were powered by mechanical hearts. boss fight with mutated Heisenberg, where he turns into his final form. Storyboard of the BSAA arriving at the village, as well as saving me. So the BSAA, they arrived at the village. They were helping to get rid of those molded or the mutant mycete. And we are finished. This one is the last one. Alright, we're gonna end it here. Thanks for watching. I'm just gonna do that. Let me know in the comments below what you guys think of this awesome video of the disappearance of EthanWinters and stuff like that. Resident Evil Village concept art and Resident Evil Biohazard concept art. Let me know what you guys think of all of that. I'd like to hear or see even your comments below in the comment section. And I hope you have liked this video. Subscribe to my channel. Watch the video, sub it up, like it up. And we'll catch you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching. You guys are awesome. Bye bye.